Asmon has found out about Pokemon Legends ZA. Let's see what he has to say.
And what's the Pokemon clip? This is Pokemon, bro. This is the new game. This is the new game that's coming out, bro. Oh, fuck, bro.
I am so happy the awful state of the Pokemon community is starting to go mainstream. And please, if anyone knows how to get a hold of Asmon, if he thinks the Pokemon Legends ZA situation is hilarious, then he needs to find out about the cheating scandal that's going on in competitive Pokemon. Send him the WolfClick cheating thread. Send him my history of cheating in Pokemon video. I can't post on Reddit because I get super duper brigaded, but anyone that knows how to get his attention for reactions, please, he needs to find out what's going on. Maybe Pokemon could be saved if it goes this bad from the general gaming community. Once it gets escape velocity, I think something might have to be done.
Oh, jeez. But yes, Palworld should. I think that this is what I think should happen. I think that the Japanese government, because of Game Freak and Nintendo's mismanagement of the Pokemon IP, I think that after the Palworld lawsuit is done, they should give the Pokemon IP to the people that make Palworld.
And then we got the classic hot take lean back from Asmon. I think anything going on with like the Palworld lawsuit and against Game Freak like that takes it too far. But overall, like this is the reaction. This is what happens when people understand what's going on inside of Pokemon. And it's funny because since I deal with the Pokemon community, I have to spell out what's wrong with this gameplay to the idiots and all the toxic people out there, and they still refuse to cope. But Asmon, he just lets it play. And he lets it speak for himself, and then the gaming community understands, like, no way is this for real. We're back to 2014. It looks terrible. I think the Palworld should sue is stupid, but it's also really weird when you think about it, because surely there had to be a similar game before Palworld, right? That yeah, Game Freak was way behind too long to actually have like action real-time Pokemon battling that people have wanted for over a decade, which is also why I think Palworld should sue is kind of a stupid take, because it's not like an original idea. And the funny thing is, Pokemon Legends ZA gameplay is so terrible, I don't think it can even be considered derivative of Palworld. This is just Game Freak unable to make an ARPG. And that's another thing about Pokemon Legends Arceus that the Pokemon community can't cope with. Like, it's an awful ARPG. Even the open area exploration, people are still lying in 2025 about that game being open world when it wasn't, because they were that desperate to defend it. But the gameplay loop, the story, everything about Pokemon Legends Arceus is objectively terrible, making it the worst Pokemon game so far. But now Legends ZA, giving Arceus a run for its money, because the whole Legends series is terrible. But it really took us until 2024 to get an action creature collecting game. It feels like there should have been something I'm missing. Like, I almost feel like a fake gamer for not knowing about some game that actually did really well in the space. But no, like, Palworld kind of the first one to do it. Animo coming out of nowhere in what feels like a solved genre. And then Game Freak has nothing, but nothing has existed. No one went for it until Palworld, and now Game Freak has just completely dropped the ball. Because they are so bricked with Pokemon Legends. They're trying to make anti-Pokemon, and they're failing. Well, actually, no, they're succeeding at making anti-Pokemon, but they are failing the games completely because of it.
Because they don't deserve it. This is embarrassing. I remember whenever I was 9 years old, this is not what I fucking imagined, okay? I imagined Palworld, all right? Obviously without guns. But besides that, I imagined fucking Palworld.
And that's what gets me, and that's why, like, I just cannot stand the people that think Pokemon Legends is defendable in any kind of way, Legends ZA or Legends Arceus, because, yeah, it's not even close to an actual action, real exploration game for Pokemon. It's an outdated, bottom-tier ARPG to begin with, and then the way it incorporates Pokemon is just miserable, and there's no action, there's nothing to it. But weirdos that have never played real games before or been honest a moment in their life keep lying about the game. Like, wow, it's so seamless. Look at this game. It's so great. When it's like, no, this is as clunky and non-functioning as it gets with just all these weird things. Like, the more you watch it, the less it makes any sense. Like, why are her Pokemon being summoned backwards? Why are we just so locked out of animations? This is not action. This is still turn-based. And then you also have to run around. You're disengaged from combat. You have to wait for them to move. Like, this isn't them actually dodging. It's just broken. And then it's just the detachment from reality that gets me. This is the kind of leap I've been looking for in a Pokemon game. Being over a decade behind in ARPGs, being a leap for Pokemon, this looks incredible, says the person that has never played any games in their life. And the thing is, the Pokemon community is so awful, that's not even rage bait. That is actually how most of the community thinks, because they're all NPCs that can't ever admit to being wrong. They jumped in with Pokemon Legends Arceus. They see, I don't even know what they could see in ZA to begin with. They're just, oh, Pokemon Legends, it's all we want now, because it's real open world action elements. And it's like, but you already lost to Palworld, and now everything is just better compared to Game Freak, no matter what gameplay. Even with like Monster Hunter Wilds, it's like, yeah, you want action? You want to play a real game? We just got a good way to get into the Monster Hunter franchise. And then having zero integrity is so OP because the losers that will actually post this stuff, they know they can get away with it on both ends by appeasing the Pokemon fans. You're going to get engagement, you're going to get promotion and followers off of that. And then trying to call this seamless or pass it off as a good thing to the rest of the gaming community, that is top tier rage bait, which is why I'm just like, man, these bad actors just also like ruining the entire perception of gaming. Everyone wants the clicks and no one can be honest, which is why everything is so terrible.
And how many of you guys, you look at this and you look at Palworld, when you were in 5th grade, which one were you imagining? This dog shit or Palworld? I was thinking about a whole lot of Palworld. That was where it's worse than Pokemon Coliseum. Yes, this is worse than a Nintendo 64 game. That's correct. And I don't know how that happens, but that's where we're at. This is better than a dog shit they've released for 5 years. Stop it. Stop it right now. Do not even for a second start with that. Oh, but it's better than what they... No, that's how they get you. That's how they get you.
It's so refreshing to see someone that is not just an idiot NPC from the Pokemon community actually understand. Like, so you can tell the people that are offended, showing how miserable the losers in the Pokemon community are. They are just programmed to hate in like the weirdest way. It's like, oh, Game Freak's wrong. Palworld needs to beat them. They're abusing Nintendo, bad copyright, all this other stuff. Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, trees, graphics, all this bad. But Legends, not allowed to touch the golden goose of Legends, even though it's worse than all of those things. But for some reason, no one can ever admit they're wrong these days.
I think you're talking to. Do not recite the ancient text to me. I was there the day they were written.
Oof. Blunder.
I bought this game my mom bought this game for me at Walmart in 1999. I don't want to hear any of this shit. You said Coliseum?
He knows.
Okay, I'm an idiot. Yeah, I thought you said Pokemon Stadium. I assumed that you meant Pokemon Stadium.
Yo, I thought he was doing it for a bit, but he's actually like in.
Yeah, VIPM. Yeah, I didn't even know.
Either way, Asmon covering that is going to have a cultural shifting effect. That's going to reprogram some of the NPCs, or at least the other people that are just falling in line. But if you're only saying something for the social media appeasement of others, you're still an NPC. But what is it like, oh, I'm actually allowed, because I thought for a moment that, you know, this looked bad and that Arceus or Legends EA is looking like kind of a joke, but everyone else says it's good, so maybe I'm the one wrong. But once popular streamer says thing, well, now it's okay to do that. So this could actually be a big tone shift, and I think we can also see that from here. Now we got those comments. Yo, this looks like a game from 2014. That's what I mean. Like, Pokemon Legends EA is just the worst ARPG in the last decade. And it fails on Pokemon, where creature collectors have been lacking, and now it just kind of exists suddenly. But, like, where was that? How did we not have real-time monster fighting until Palworld? They threw in the guns, which offended people. And then, like, it's also really weird how it went from, oh, this is ripping off Pokemon. I hope Pokemon sues. Pokemon does sue, and now everyone's defending Palworld over Scarlet and Violet, and then they're trying to redefend Game Freak over this, and then it's all just a complete mess because everyone's stupid. And then the losers that just can't let it go. I dislike the whole concept of this game. They should have made another outdoorsy adventure like the previous Legends game. I mean, Sword and Shield was more adventure than Legends. Same thing for Scarlet and Violet on the open world exploration. And I'm upset that, like, yeah, Pokemon Legends has like bricked the main series because we should have just had crafting and more of those like open action elements in Brilliant Diamond and Shine Pearl as like the open world Gen 4 game, or at least holding that off and then making Scarlet and Violet like just the ultimate game. Instead, Legends is the experimental main series, and now it's just the worst of everything it attempts, because Game Freak is over a decade behind on it. And then people are like, yeah, but they're trying, you know, this is great for the future of Pokemon, we gotta give them credit. No, you don't get credit for completely shitting the bed. And then, yeah, like, anyone just like, oh, Palworld brain rot. So, I mean, like, everyone is an NPC, even outside of how awful the Pokemon community is, and then, like, no one knows how to have any critical thinking or good discussion about it. But at least people are saying what needs to be said about this. And, like, that doesn't mean just completely burn down Game Freak and give up or something. Maybe it is just all Palworld hype now. That people, like, this goes so south and everyone has, like, Palworld back in their brain because other people like Asmon are commentating on it, or Pokemon's gameplay is just such a failure. The only thing you can do is say Palworld better. That's a good sign for the Palworld full release whenever that happens, but, like, Pokemon's still cool. Especially as a turn-based battler. I don't understand why anyone would want non-turn-based Pokemon, because they perfected that. And then it turns out we've spent almost 30 years perfecting turn-based strategy. There's no point to doing any of this, even when it comes to 3D, because we've already had it. Everyone loved Pokemon Stadium. Just make your main series games more Pokemon Stadium-like as you have the graphic capability for it. Instead, everything about this game is a complete failure. And idiots and toxic people can't cope. And then people lose the context of this is compressed footage uploaded to a website, so it doesn't even have like proper video encoding, then being uploaded to Twitter, which is only like 720p or has very terrible bitrate. So like a lot of people getting exposure to this, they don't have the full fidelity of the game. So that is unfortunate, but whatever it takes to burn down the Pokemon community at this point, and I'll defend Game Freak. I'll be Game Freak's biggest warrior for everything that isn't Pokemon Legends, because when Game Freak does Game Freak, when they do Pokemon, when they actually care, it's incredible, even with recent Pokemon games. But this is just like the anti-Pokemon not franchise, series with Pokemon Legends. They don't care. They just throw away the lore. They put in their stupid mechanics, and they force things that they can't program or develop for, because they kicked out Junichi Masuda. Like, I'd love to know how Asmon's audience would react to just this trailer in general, or at least this character. But then there's also, like, the complete misses, such as this part, where they have just, like, the grunts looking all weird, with also just the same exact models. If there was any care left at Game Freak to put heart into their games, we could have so much better. But you can already tell, like, that's why I just say, like, Pokemon Legends as a franchise is bricked. We're not going back to Kalos for a proper Z version to experience the beauty of Kalos, because they don't, I don't know what it is. Like, it has to be a lack of care. There's some moments where it's like, this guy would be cool as a gym leader, as a continuation of the X and Y story, but then they have to ruin their characters with poorly implemented fan service. What are we supposed to do? Now, this is also something you could show just as a complete joke of gameplay, where like, oh, this is as close as Pokemon gets to action and boss battles, and it's just horrible. And also the Dragonite design. Actually, yeah, that could just be, I'm never even going to look at Pokemon Champions because of what they did to Dragonite. Fair, even if you loved Pokemon Go. So the Pokemon community is awful, Game Freak has no heart, and Asmon just buried the whole thing, and I need cheaters like Wolfglick to get banned and the corruption in Pokemon to get exposed. And I don't even know what could happen for the future. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.